good morning, evening, or afternoon, whichever one's going on for you at this current point in time. I just hit 1,000 subscribers. I just wanted to make that a little side note. All right, that's freaking awesome. Thank you guys. I just want to keep learning and finding new skills and stuff like that. But that is nothing. Okay, that's all I'm going to say about that. Anyways, this is the DCB 102 from DeWalt. That's the PCG 005. These are the dual chargers. Let me just move those out of the way. These are the dual chargers for Ryobi and DeWalt respectively, I should say. And the reason I picked these up is because you ever have just a bunch of batteries like, I don't know, people tend to have, and you're like, yo, I'm expecting a power outage, I have inverters and stuff like that, but this is going to get you through a storm. Not too long ago, we had a drunk driver hit a pole that knocked out our power. Do you know when we get our power back? Whenever they send a crew out to get us our power back online. They also had a big explosion where it sounded like it was underground. But in reality, one of the transformers in our area had dropped the phase. And so they said it knocked out power to 10,000 homes and buildings or commercial like businesses. And they had to spend basically all day combing through all the transformers in the area until they could find the one that had a dropped phase and then fix it. So that restored power back to 10,000 places. And like I said, that is not something you want to be dealing with. So these are your best friend. This hooked up with an adapter to the Milwaukee inverter, which I've done a video on all the inverters, and specifically the Rigid and the Milwaukee are the ones that I kept. But these can be attached and used. Charge your phones, charge your tablets, keep a light on, that kind of thing. Not only that, but I don't like people being trapped to one platform. So use adapters. Again, make sure they're high quality ones. But batteries are getting too expensive to be paying for that, you know, the Hilti, Bosch, Milwaukee tax. So please save your money, keep it in your pocket. But if your electrical company or whatever tells you like, hey, there's a blackout, there's a brownout, there's a surges happening in the area, there's a storm, there's a, you know, anything happens, maybe a foreign country attacks you and leaves your grid without power. It could be a day, it could be hours, it could be several days, it could be a week, a month, who knows, right? So when I get the warning, I like to make sure that double chargers are fast charging constantly to make sure I'm topped off in case, you know, I need to bunker down and stay safe. You should always have med kits, you should always have medicine, you should always have dried food, and you should always have weapons and reinforced doors, because you never know. Bunch of bad people out there, they like to take advantage of very dangerous situations and make them more dangerous by trying to get into your car or your home. Protect yourself and your families. But I will say with the DCB 102, I love that I like that it has USB-A ports on the front. Unfortunately, Ryobi did not think to do that. So unfortunately, they do not have that. Hopefully, Ryobi, if you ever see this video, or somebody, uncle, brother, cousin, sister, whatever, can get the message over to Ryobi. Next generation, please put 2 USB-A ports here, like 2 amp, right? The ones from the DeWalt are 1.5 output, so keep that in mind. But they're both fast charging. So typically, your 4 amp hour battery is going to take like 2 hours. A standard 2 might take like an hour. With the fast chargers, they obviously cut that time in half. So picture something like this during a storm. It's going to keep you, right? 9 amp hour flex volt battery. But the point of this video specifically is not to trust aftermarket batteries. You go on Alibaba, Mercari, Temu, TikTok store, Amazon, whatever, and you want to get a cheap charger because you spent, let's say, $320 on a 12 amp hour DeWalt battery. That's ridiculous, right? But you just paid all that money for a nice investment to go stick it on a $10, $20, $30, $40, $50 charger, and guess what you got? You barbecued your investment because a resistor failed or some bottom of the barrel component, sadly caused a little fire or something to melt or burn out. Use high quality chargers. And if you want to go aftermarket with your batteries, only do that if you have super cheap tools, things that you're not afraid of losing. No way would I stick this onto any of those 6-port, 4-port, multiple chargers because it's way too much amperage. If something fails, guess what? You're back at the store or fighting with DeWalt for a warranty. Same thing with Rigid, same thing with Ryobi, Milwaukee, really doesn't matter. This one over here, I will say, the DeWalt, it has a bit of a whine or a bit of a hiss. You have to really put your ear to it in order to hear it, even when it's charging, so it's not that bad. I will say, DeWalt, if you want to make this better, the DCB 102 and the 104, your 4-port charger, put a little blower inside, a little blower fan, just to kind of move air like the fast charger from Flex. Same thing with Ryobi, put a little blower in here. The DeWalt has vents on the sides and in the center, so they move air evenly. The vents in the middle for the Ryobi make it so that a lot of the air is just moving here, so it kind of stays right where the batteries are. So if you have dead batteries, like I've got dead battery, well, not that one. What? I was charging some of them. Okay, so yes, what I would say is, if you turn off the light for a second, right? You can see the red lights, yes? Now, I would like if it was like the DeWalt's where there's no light, and then once you put on a battery, there will be a charging light, right? Flashing red to let you know it's charging, and solid red to let you know that it is done charging. So this is a full power stack 5 amp, so that one's done, but the Flex Volt needs a little more juice. Flex Volts are basically, these are 9 amp hour batteries, so picture 3 amp hour batteries in here. That would take about an hour and a half for a 3 amp hour battery to charge. That times 3 is what, 4.5. With a twice as fast charger, you're looking at about 2 hours and 15 minutes to charge a Flex Volt 9 amp versus 4.5 hours to charge the same battery. Super silly. Again, I will say this, and that's why I brought the simple 40 volt charger from Ryobi. These are $150 each. These are the Ryobi 4 amp hour batteries. Those are 150, 160 something with tax. The twos are 120 before tax or delivery. Ridiculous pricing on the 40 volt batteries and on the Flex Volts. So protect your investments. Don't go with garbage. Official chargers only. If you want aftermarket stuff, that's your business. I'd rather have third-party tools and then use them with official batteries. But, you know, you might have better luck than myself. So, that hiss that I'm talking about here is like a high-pitched whine frequency. That does go away with, not necessarily that it goes away, but it does get quieter as you have 2 batteries charging at the same time, right? Now you see how these sync up, right? These two are blinking, boom, 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 right? With the DeWalt, the lights just kind of like do whatever they want. I like this synchronized look. I know it's something that might be a little stupid, but you see how these are off, right? But the charger itself is uniform with the blinking. This one, it'll just do whatever it wants until they're both done charging. I do like that when you take the battery off, though, that there is no light. Remember, that LED has a lifespan or a lifetime on it, and after that's gone, how would you know if you're charging or not? See what I mean? If this was off and it would only turn on red when something was wrong with the battery and solid red when there's a temperature issue, that would be a lot more lifespan for these lights. As far as the battery charger themselves, they do what they're supposed to do. These, by the way, if anybody cares, when you're charging your whatever you're charging, your phone, your light, your foldable pens, whatever, this is 1.5 amp outputs for the USB-Cs, right? Let me just put a light because it's a little dark down there, right? Those USB-As are going to be giving you a charge, but I did use my phone. It does not support fast charge or super fast charge, so do keep that in mind. It's not going to be the fastest thing, but it will keep your phone going while you Bluetooth your phone to the job site radio or something, so do keep that in mind. As far as the speed of the charging, it is much better than the standard, but I will say use the standard charger when you have the option. These should be, if you're on a job site or if you're doing something where you need that constant power going, I understand. Otherwise, if you're not doing anything and you got plenty of time to kill, low and slow. Only fast charge or turbo charge or rapid charge when you absolutely have to. This charger right here super expensive. And yes, if you're using 40-volt mowers and stuff like that, and you don't have a lot of batteries, it's understandable that you have one in the mower or whatever big machine you're going, and you have one on the rapid charger ready to go on deck. I get that. But if you have the option and you have the time and you're going to, let's say, cut on a Sunday for your own home, use the slow charger. I say slow. It's going to take way more time, sure, but it's also going to not shorten your life cycles. Let's say this battery has 1,000 cycles. If you're constantly rapid, fast, charging, turbo all the time, and you only have a handful of batteries, so you're using them over and over, that 1,000 cycles can become 700, 800 just because of the wear and tear you're putting on that recharging process. I hate to see people spend all that money just to have to walk into the store and buy it again. So low and slow if you don't need it, right? I have plenty of batteries here, so even all those being not available right away, that's not going to hurt me because I got plenty. But for you may not be far into a platform and you only have a few. Do not fast start charge them or rapid charge them. They will stay without charge. All right, you're going to shorten the lifespan. People are complaining about fires. People are complaining about their batteries not holding a full charge or depleting too quickly. Please be careful with who you're doing business. If you buy the lowest quality, expect the lowest quality. All right, with that being said, I'm not trying to babble too much about this, just really important. Be careful with these things. If they are not tested and quality controlled, you can cause a fire. Please be careful. Please, please, please be careful. The last thing you want is something dangerous to happen to you or your tools. Especially if you have your workshop in the garage or something, you cause a fire, something happens where that fire can somehow get to your car. Bad times, right? Or something like this where it's in my apartment where I go to sleep with these things charging and I wake up to a fire. That's not going to happen. Please be careful. If you have an older apartment or an older home, this is plugged in. What happens if your circuit breaker doesn't cut the circuit? It's just going to start a fire in the wall. Not good, right? Please be on top of your things and be careful, all right? With that being said, work smart. Thank you for 1,000 subscribers.
You love me.